Donald Trump's fake news, but not if they just replace it with fake news of their own. So the last year of Mayor Johnson's mayoralty, there were 9,721 knife offences in London. Last year, there were 16,147. That's a huge increase. And in fact, every year of your mayoralty has been higher than the last year of Johnson's mayoralty. Even the pandemic year, when everyone was locked in their homes half the year, had more knife crimes in London than under Boris Johnson. I'm sure you're going to say you regret that increase. Do you also regret trying to gaslight Londoners and tell them that the evidence that they see and the data in the police statistics is wrong?
I thank the member for his question. For certain crimes, the way the data is recorded is different now to what it was in previous years. Knife crime is one of those. There are certain crimes that are recorded exactly the same. Homicide being a good example. There are some data we can get objectively that is clearly the same. Those who go to hospitals with injury, clearly that won't change in terms of definition. So what I can share with him is compared to 2016 and now, there are 13,900 fewer incidents of violence with injury. As I said, 44% reduction in young people going to hospitals with a knife, and the lowest homicides rates in history on a per capita basis since records began, 1.1 per 100,000. We can go back to 2016 and 2015 compared to 100,000. It was higher than 1.1. I do accept, though, crime is too high in London. I do accept high volume crime, shoplifting, personal robbery, personal theft is too high. Antisocial behaviour is too high. Acquisitive crime is too high. Homicide is too high. One violent crime is one too many, so we're going to carry on bearing down on those crimes.
You're cherry-picking statistics and you're trying to pretend that things are getting better. Let's look at robbery. If you break down the knife crime stats and specifically focus on robbery, and let's be clear what this means. This means an innocent person going about their day is confronted by a violent man threatening them with a knife to hand over their valuables. Last year of Boris Johnson's mayoralty, 4,500. That is a lot too many. But last year, 10,017. It's more than doubled. Again, every single year of your mayoralty, more people in London were threatened with a knife, robbed at knife point for their valuables, than the last year of Boris Johnson. The figures have got worse. Every single year of your mayoralty is worse than what you inherited. How can you tell Londoners that it's getting better?
Well, using the definition of personal robbery on a like-for-like basis, it's gone down 15% in the last year. Personal theft, gone down 25% in the last year. How has it gone down?
To be clear, hang on, I didn't say personal robbery, because this includes business robbery, where, let's say, someone running a corner shop is threatened with a knife. That would count as a business robbery. All of that together, personal robbery and business robbery, Londoners threatened at knife point for their valuables, that has doubled, more than doubled, during your mayoralty, and it's been worse in every year of your mayoralty. So you've introduced this shift to personal robbery. That was not my question.
I'm happy to talk about theft from a shop, if that's where he wants to go. There's been a 25% reduction in this year in theft from shops, and that's one of the reasons for that is we doubled the size of the team in the West End.
So is that better now or worse than it was in Johnson's last year?
Look, can we allow the Mayor to answer the question, then you come back and you get the opportunity to do that?
But I've been quite clear from 2016 about the consequences of austerity. I'm the guy that explained that when you cut a third...
So he's changing the topic, Chair. He's changing the topic. I asked him about violence, and he's changing the topic and not answering my question, is he? Because he knows that every single year of his mayoralty, the crime figures are the robbery figures are worse. And before you get on to police numbers, Boris Johnson inherited about 31,000 Met Police officers. He handed over to you about 31,000 Met Police officers. Currently, there are about 31,000 Met Police officers. That is not the explanation for this.
Sorry, we've just moved on to police officers
and
now.
The population's gone up by more than 1.1 million. But let's deal with the facts, which is this. We've had record austerity since 2010 up until last year. We've lost £1.2 billion, which is a third of our core funding. Police numbers went down to 29,000 as a consequence of the previous government's cuts. And I was the person making it quite clear about the consequences of this austerity. So crime did go high in a number of areas, including homicide. What we've done is from City Hall, trying to fill that massive hole left by central government by more than doubling investment in the police, at the same time as setting up the country's violence reduction unit, make huge progress on serious violence, but still more to do in other areas as well. And where you can do a like-for-like comparison, homicide's the obvious one. Those who die from a gun is an obvious one. Violence with injury is an obvious one because there are objective ways of measuring those. They've all gone down.
I think it's very clear that every time I brought up knife point robbery, knife crime, the Mayor changed the subject. I think I will leave it there. It's very clear that he has spent this week and this morning gaslighting Londoners about what they see with their own eyes. Thank you, Chair.
OK, Assembly Member Baker.
Thanks, Chair. Happy New Year, Mr Mayor.